And if we're saving that and then something comes up in the future, we could be like, well, here's what our records show. Here's what we put in. Here's what you said.
When we get one process and one way to do things, we can also identify in the quote sheet, like what to disqualify.
What we're giving you is a template. We want to make those modifications, make those things really work for your team, for your agency, for your carriers, the questions that you want to ask.
All right, everybody, we're back again with another podcast / YouTube video / blog / awesome amount of content that we put out. I was just telling the team, I just got a very lovely email from someone saying, thank you so much for the content we put out. So we want to say thank you. You can thank us by giving us the stars on any of the channels or sharing it with a friend, right? Like tell a buddy, tell a friend, phone a friend, do all the things. But we are in our sales process launch month, which is exciting. So every quarter we launch a new course. This one is our updated sales course, which is so cool. First of all, I'm having a blast writing it. And most importantly, I think we need to give everybody on the agency additional help with sales because a hard market means selling is different, right? So today I'm joined by the wonderful Mr. Diva of Insurance, Stephen Harrington Decoto, or I like to say Descote 2X when I have to spell it out. It's me. And then Bobby Fernandez, who doesn't have a name that's hard to spell, so that's easy. But I don't have to pronounce it out like that. But guys, yeah, so quote sheets, right? So one of the things I find in agencies, we're dealing with one right now, is everybody uses a different one, or depending on the day, or we don't use them because we just know everything in our head.
I mean, I would say after 20-some years in insurance, I know all the questions to ask till I forget 2 of them.
Yeah. And like, I mean, now the underwriting is so detailed, right? Because the guidelines are so complex and carriers have different discounts. Like, I don't think it's just like year, make, model, roof. Like, it's far more complicated to get accurate quotes. But why, Bobby, are people so stubborn in either using a uniform quote sheet for the whole agency or just using a quote sheet? Because I've seen people literally be like, if you make me use your quote sheet, I'm going to quit. I'm like, you haven't even seen it. It could be the same one you're using. Like, why is it everybody has to have things in the order that they like, and why does it have to be on one page? Why is everybody obsessed with a 1-page quote sheet? I know I just threw a lot at you, Bobby. Sorry, I got fired.
Because I know it all already, right? Like I'm always going to lean into what I feel most comfortable with. So when you're asking me to do something that is out of my comfort zone,
right,
that might take me 5 minutes longer, although could potentially be more effective, our regular response is to be like, no, 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 right? We don't want to do that thing that is the most uncomfortable, like, get out of bed at 4:30 in the morning and put on our running shoes and go for that walk.
I love that because I do that. So now it's not uncomfortable because I've done it for so long, unfortunately.
But is it uncomfortable for me?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I also think it's interesting that people sometimes in insurance are so closed-minded, right? That like, I would want to like look at it and be like, oh, that's a good question, or can we add these 2 questions in? It's just like, no, I love my quote sheet. But what I find is they're really trying to like hide from the fact that they have an inconsistent process and they don't want to be tracked. They don't want to be monitored. They don't want to cross-sell because they do it so amazingly. But then you go back and you listen to the recorded phone call and you're like, I think we missed some opportunity here.
Or we just, there's all this underwriting, we switched several years ago from, underwriters really having their fingers in what was going on and knowledge about what was going on to all this electronic underwriting where things just got through, right? If they didn't think we knew as agents that, hey, you wouldn't take roof more than 20 years old, and now they have no idea what they're rating and what's on their books. So they are getting a little bit more stringent. And those of us that have maybe been around the world a few times in insurance, we're used to the photos and the big underwriting submission, and the consistency is key. And so some of the more green staff is like, what do you mean you got to take pictures and inspect properties and do all these things? So a quote sheet just makes it really consistent. And it's a way when we have changes, we can keep those changes up to date and make sure that everyone consistently across the board, whether they talk to me or to Stephen or to Kelly, they're all getting the same customer experience. And that's what we want in our agency, right?
Also, if you were to win the lottery tomorrow and that quote needed to be done, how are we going to do it without a consistent quote sheet? Or many agencies are moving towards virtual assistants, which we super support. And you can't give just mixed notes to a virtual assistant and be like, can you quote this? Right?
They don't know how to read the
But you can't
cocktail
expect a
napkin.
solid outcome.
No, they don't know how to read the cocktail napkin. And then you find out that, oh, how many agents are actually winging it and putting in their information versus information they actually acquired from the client and like winging it, right? So I feel like people, like agency owners need to step in and say, no, like we are doing the sales process and this is what we're doing, and you will use our quote sheet or you will do direct entry.
Well, and I think that the other thing to think about too is if we don't close it this year, then we have it for next year in a consistent format that we can go back and anybody can pull up and say, oh, look, we had 99% of the information. Yes, some of it needs to be updated or double checked, but at least we have a place to start and it's building better rapport. If you're reaching back out to the client and you're like, hey, I still have all the stuff from last year. Just got a couple quick questions. Let's get you an updated quote and see if we're competitive this year. Or let's see if the market's changed, or let's see that accident came off, or the client closed.
How many times does download map over information that we needed for underwriting? Or like download it all?
The other thing we're seeing too is like a lot of people they're changing raters. Let's put everything in the rater, put everything in the rater, put everything in the rater, which I fully agree with. Don't get me wrong. I think it has to go in the rater. But then you change raters and now all that information's gone and you can't go back and just update it and refresh it. Or we're putting it directly into one company and then another.
It lasts 30 days in a company. It doesn't stay forever and ever and ever, and then companies merge and you lose it. But I also look at it like, what a gift to your service team if they have to remarket it. Now it's like, hey, look at all these beautiful things in the same place for every single person. And I'm very anti handwriting quote sheets because I can't read people's handwriting.
Agreed.
I have another secret too.
Ooh, is this Confessions of Stephen Harrington today?
And and if we're documented on the quote sheet, it means it's probably what we asked and what the client responded. And if we're saving that and then something comes up in the future, we could be like, well, here's what our records show. Here's what we put in. Here's what you said.
And consistency is key, right? Because we are consistent and we got a quote sheet on every new client. That's what they're going to look at.
Bobby does love a good process.
I do. I'm always trying to CYA, cover your agency.
Well, and here's the other thing I think we have to get embraced with the quote sheet, right? Like, I want everybody to think about the fact that it's your agency's sales process. Everybody can't go wing it, right? And when we get one process and one way to do things, we can also identify in the quote sheet, like what to disqualify. So it's super clear, right? We don't do this. We don't do 50-year-old mobile homes. Okay. We only write package business. We don't do somebody with an open claim. Like, let's make it so abundantly clear. And then let's add on the quote sheet, like how to document it in your CRM, right? Here's where you put the source. Like, I'm a huge believer we need the source of the policies so that way we know what's working, what's not working. I'm also a huge believer that we need to categorize it when it doesn't sell. So we know what to go back after and recycle the lead, or what's truly not working and why, what's the objection so we can work through it. But it's funny to me, and you guys have seen this, right? So the service team, when we show them the renewal review form, I'd say like 80% of them are like, oh my God, thank you. You're like, I want this. I don't have to think that hard. Like, this tells me what a good job is. It tells me what to say. Like, I'm all good in the hood. You give a quote form to the sales team, it's a whole different brain, right? Like, you reverse and you flip their brains inside out and they're like, oh, whoa, structure, like, oh, documentation. Oh, can someone fill this out for me? And you're like, no, like, your job is to quote. Like,
right.
Your job is to gather the information. And I'm sorry you need to put it in a pretty format, but like, I can't get over the fact that we can't use some kind of formal documentation in an agency.
Well, I also think too, Kelly, a lot of times, like, agencies get freaked out, like, by the quote sheet too, like you can make modifications. team.
100%. You should.
Like, let's make the modifications and make it work for your agency. What we're giving you is a template. We want to make those modifications, make those things really work for your team, for your agency, for your carriers, the questions that you want to ask. You don't have to use it right out of the box. We can make those changes and really make it work for you.
But can we also just discuss for like a minute? Because this came up last week, and I said to the owners, I said, watch, this one person is going to ask me if we can get it to one page. And it literally, like I have to fix my face. I have to breathe it out and be like, okay, well, why do we need it on one page? Well, it's just nice when it's on one page. I go, but we're not printing it, so we're not killing trees. We're actually going to save trees by not printing it. And there's drop downs, so we need to fit them all in. And in order to do a good job, we do need these questions. And she's just like, I just really like it when it's one page. I was like, well, if you want me to make it 4-point font, we can certainly go down the one page, but what would you like to cut out of here to make it one page? And it was all the rapport building questions, all the sales questions. Like I was like, you want an underwriting sheet? I'm giving you a sales quote sheet. She's like, well, I mean, the source and everything else, we'll just put that in. I'm like, but will you?
No, because if we don't ask it, if it's not there, if we don't have to put it somewhere, we're going to forget to ask.
And the first page of our quote sheet is sales questions. So it slows them down to talk about the agency and build value and find out what's important and qualify the lead, not just like your make, model, address. Let me give you the quickest quote possible so I can get this off my desk and do other things.
Bobby, how many other people have you called already for a quote?
Well, like that and that voice.
I don't see real well, so I'd rather have my quote sheet be 20 pages where I can see effectively.
Yeah, it's like the number of pages is very intense. Good news, Bobby, if you put it on your computer, you can change it so it's huge.
There we go.
You're not writing it if you're not doing it. But I think a couple of things agencies look at. One, go through and ask all your producers or people who sell, send me your quote sheet. You will find that everybody's using something different.
Or nothing.
Yeah. Or I don't use one, I just know.
I love that one. That's my favorite.
When we all get on a plane, do you feel comforted that the pilot checks his checklist despite how many years he's been flying planes? I feel comfortable. Yeah. They don't just like, I've been doing this long enough. So why is that acceptable? Right. You know, an underwriter's not allowed to underwrite without all the information. Right. So like, why are you allowing your team to frontline underwrite without all the information? That's garbage. So that's step one, ask your team to see them all. Then step two, look at them. I bet you that there's no sales information on most of them. It's like, it goes right into the like, let's interrogate you, not build a relationship, right? And then step three, ask them if we'd like to consolidate to one sheet and watch the faces melt out of not being excited. And then you have to come back around and be the leader and say, we're doing one sales process here because the value is, you know what? And part of, I think the reason Deep Dark Secret, I think part of the reason people don't want the quote sheet also has to do with then it's harder to onboard new salespeople.
Is it though? Or is it easier? Because they know what the expectation is.
It's easier for you, but like if my leads now are going to be distributed to others, like I have this secret sauce.
Oh, right. Okay.
When I get a quote sheet, it's like you realize that I'm just asking information and that anybody could ask information, you know, and then I might have to take that and give it to somebody else to quote. And I like to control everything without having it be efficient and effective.
I need no more practice quoting. I need to just close. I don't quote, I close.
Well, and I think it's all about how you ask the information because anybody could ask those questions, but it's all about, can you build that rapport? Can you build that trust with your client? They might not like the way that I asked the question, but then they love Stephen and he could be using the same exact quote sheet that I'm using. It's all about, does our client know us, like us, and trust us? And are they going to want to buy from us? And in that, we want to be using a consistent process, and we're going to be able to understand as agency leaders too, if we're using a consistent process, where is the breakdown?
Absolutely.
Is it the individual? Was it a breakdown in the process? And then where can we lean into potentially, helping Bobby be better at closing and quoting
Yeah.
and building that rapport and doing all of those things. But when there's no consistency, we can't pinpoint to anything.
So bottom line, everybody, if you need a quote sheet, our new course has it. We've got commercial lines, personal lines, farm, and the commercial lines even has some niches at the bottom that you can mix and match with, which is really sexy and fun. And guess what they all have? Fillable PDF, Word document, and sales questions, and some, documentation at the bottom, like, hey, what are the reasons we wouldn't sell a deal so that you can update your CRM tool? What are some of the source recommendations we have? So if you're like, yeah, I need a quote sheet, people, where do I get one? $4.95. The course launches. This is the only time you can buy this course standalone is for 2 weeks. So from April 15th to April 30th, that's it. Tax day on. That's the only time you can buy it. Other than that, you got to subscribe to our school, which we also recommend. But this sale training is hot. I'm creating it when we shoot this, and I'm in love with the new content. So make it saucy, and we all need to sell in a hard market. So that's my message. Any final thoughts, Stephen or Bobby?
Get it consistent to get it done.
I like it.
Close. And remember, if you need updates to those, there's ways that we can do updates to those quote sheets for you too.
Yep, as long as you're a consulting client.
That's right.
But you do get the ability to edit them yourselves through our course. So take them and run with them. Thanks, everybody.